change the setting back. Speed sliders, please. Alright, so a couple notes already. So the big point here, the biggest point here rather is alright, let's get there real quick. I just want to talk about how you push corners, right? So notice right here, right? You have bubble, so I mean this bubble's too early, but we're not going to talk about that. You're going to push around the corner, right? And you're going to swing into this Rein, right? That's really good, right? That's taking space, right? The problem here is like the way you push it is really problematic for your team, right? So if you look at your, I guess there's Zen's here, but like if you just look at your Mercy's LOS, right? Just assume that this Mercy's an Ana, she's trying to heal you around the corner, right? If you look, right? You go around the corner, right? See this? You like the way you push deliberately LOSs your team, right? And if you have an Ana, which is very common with Rein or a Moira, this creates a lot of problems for them. Your Ana will have to like run around the corner to try and help you and sacrifice her own positioning. Your Moira will have to do the same, right? And put herself potentially too close to them, to the enemy team, right? So when you want to push this corner, push in a way that your supports can still see, right? So instead of like pushing around, right? Like push in the direction of the corner at the Reinhardt, right? So you still want to move at the Reinhardt, but you want to push at a very soft angle relative to the corner, right? You want to just push from the corner, like more or less from the same angle as the corner, right? So that way your supports only have to like go from like here to like here to see you, right? And this makes their job a lot easier, right? And when their job's easier, right, your job becomes also easier because you're just getting more help, right? And then like if you're worried about cover, right, you push to this corner, right? Now like again, the way you want to approach the next corner is probably this corner, right? This is probably your next corner, right? And very conveniently, this all just like nicely lines up, right? From here to here to here, right? And then your next corner, right? What's your next corner? This one, right? So you just go across here. And if you look, it was almost a straight line, right? Just some minor bends to get here, right? And the whole time it's relatively easy for supports to maintain LOS. So don't go around corners but like the way you push around the corner right here is really sketch because like again it's not a straight line. You deliberately put a corner between you and your supports, and it makes it very difficult, right? Likewise, when you're pushing this corner, right? When you get here, right? Don't push it like this, right? Push it like this, right? Get the idea, right? Push a bit wide, right? You still want to walk at the Rein if he's backing up, right? But you want to like push it a bit wider, right? And if he's holding the corner tight, you just fight him on this corner. You don't walk past it, right? And if he's backing up again, you push at him, right? At him and wide. You don't like push like this, right? And LOS all your supports and make your supports have to run around this corner and get shot from above or something, right? And likewise, when you're here, right? If you want to push this Rein right here, right? Like if he's backing up again, this is all assuming he's backing up because if he's holding your corner, right? You just trade with him on the corner. You don't have to do anything, right? Just like barely peek him, just keep swinging M1, right? You don't have to do anything, right? But if he's backing up, right? Don't chase him like this. Chase him like this, right? Make sense? All right. So this is a good chase down the Doomfist. So quick thing, right? Again, you're really LOSing your healers, right? This is okay because this Doomfist is isolated. You can't do anything back to you, right? So now all you need to make sure is that A, you don't get charged because you heard a charge, and B, you want to regroup with your team. Like going here, right? Once you kill him, this is a solid like 2 seconds of movement, then 2 seconds back at least, and probably more. Realistically, more like 5 or 6, right? And then you come all the way back down, right? There's another like 4 seconds to get back to where you want to be, right? So this is like 10 seconds you're taking yourself out of the fight. And our full respawn for this Doom is like 10 seconds, right? So if you think about it, like you essentially just killed yourself and the Doom at the same time, right? Your respawn's faster because like once you're 10 seconds up, you're back in the fight, whereas he has to get back, but he's Doom, so that's realistically only another 10 seconds. But you essentially like half killed yourself to grab this Mega, right? It's just not worth it. Like you're missing some health, that sucks, right? But you got the kill, right? Just time to come back. Make sure you don't get charged, right? Step out the doorway and just like get an LOS of your healers, right? And your healers will take care of everything, right? But this is like killing yourself. Like it's a long time. Again, you want to take the close corner, right? So instead of like pushing around like this, you want to push up to this corner, right? And then you go wide, right? Because like if you just think about it, this corner to here costs you shield, right? It costs you shield, whereas this corner to here costs you nothing because you're right next to it, right? So if you look, you're already down 300 shield, right? 350 shield. This is entirely from walking from here to here, right? Actually, I can draw pointers. Whoops. I don't gesture with my camera all the time. So from going from here to here costs you all that shield. Whereas if you're from here to here, right, this is a lot less distance, right? So whenever you're pathing, try to path to the close corner and then play it wide if they're backing up, right? Don't just like walk around the corner, right? Don't go vertical, like perpendicular. Um, don't do 90 degrees. Like just kind of do softer angles, right? To get to like the next corner you want, right? So if we look at how this this would trace out, right? Um, you would walk from here to here, right? And then instead of going around the corner like this, right? You would go like this, right? To the car, which is your next cover, right? And then from the car, you go to this corner, right? And then you would push out like that, right? And none of this like 90 degrees stuff, right? And like I'm sort of outlining it like how you would play this exact point, but like almost everything boils down to stuff like this, right? So if we looked at second point, right? Like how does this map work, right? It's like you push the cart, right? And the cart is in off cases cover, right? But you push from here, this corner, to the and then you use the cart, and then you go over here, right? And then you keep walking the cart. You go here, right? Assuming that they're not contesting this whole time, right? But from cover to cover, this is how this works, right? Then you go here, right? And then what's your next cover, right? Next cover is like probably over here, right? So you go to here to like here, or just like work your way up to the like using these beams as like soft cover. You work your way up. You don't walk into this room unless you have to, because this tends to LOS supports, right? But if you need to use this room and your supports are like not getting sniped out from above, right? Like that's not too bad, right? And you sort of just work your way along this. What's another? I can't think of another good example. But like Reinhardt is really just corner to corner to corner and just like pathing around them smoothly and like efficiently, right? That's a good counterpin, right? But again, be careful of this, right? See how like you're sort of LOSing everybody now, right? So like I know you counterpin, so it's whatever, right? But like if you want to counterpin, you want to do it like more like here or more like here, right? You don't want to do it like deep, because this is how you die, right? There's an Ana over here with a nade. She splashes both of you with the wall above. No one can block it, right? And you just die. Right? That happens a lot. Right? Do you see how like you're hard LOSing everyone? Like you're giving this Rein the fight he wants, right? Like you want to just like push out and fight him right here in the open when you have man advantage, right? Yeah. So if you look, right, your team is up. Right? Your team is up a lot, right? But in order for your team to help you, right, they had to finally wrap this corner, and this guy with just a mercy and a baby diva like outmuscles you essentially, right? Like he basically just won like a 1v1 with like minimal help. Like you guys both had mercy pocket for the majority of that fight, right? But like he won the fight with just like the help of baby diva, because like of the way you took the fight made it really hard to help you, right?
Always leave yourself back. Reinhardt, where would you be without me?
Alright, so they have Bastion now, so pathing becomes extra important. So again, first of all, you want to help your team cross. So instead of like doing this, like just sit here for a second, make sure everyone's lined up, right? And then you shield across, right? And get your whole team across with you, right? And don't drop your shield when you're crossing. Like so, just sit here, peek, throw a fire strike, unpeek, right? Then when your team's ready to cross, then you shield across, and you don't throw a fire strike during that because your team will die, right? Right. So now you have to burn shield. Like you've burned shield crossing multiple times now, and this is how your shield dies, right? Like just make sure that when you cross, you only have to cross once. That way you save all your shield.
Onwards to victory.
Right. And so you're just steadily running out of shield. And now the fight's on, right? Now the fight's on. Right? Your Sombra's set up, your Bob is in, right? And you have no shield to go in now, right? Do you see how this adds up really, really fast, right? If you had a full shield right here, this fight would be so much easier. You just walk in with your shield, and then there's no problems, right? But now, if like there's a solid chance that a lot of things can go wrong here. I guess that's one way to solve it. All right, the setup for your team was good enough, it turns out, but yeah, you made it more difficult on yourself. Oh, dunked on her. Alright, this is a bad fight. Why is it a bad fight? This is a choke. You're trying to push a choke against their whole team when half your team is on cart, right? This is a bad fight, right? All you need to do is hold the corner, right? Just sit here and make him walk through the choke, right? But you're trying to push the choke when you don't have to, and this is going to probably going to get you killed, or at least one of This is either going to get you killed or your teammates or all three of you together, right? But it's going to get ugly either way. And you just don't have to, well, that's not you. You just don't have to do this, right? Like imagine if you counterpinned him, right? Like so, like even if you counterpinned him there, right? What's going to happen, right? So imagine you counterpin him here, right? Oh, you try to hammer too. Oh god, you lost your ult. Imagine if you try to counterpin him here, right? You get 80 healing per second. This Rein gets 50 healing per second, 55 healing per second. Sorry, this is 85. But or I guess he gets 85 as well, right? And then you just die because he has more damage than you, right? He's got a Zen, an Ashe, and a D.Va shooting your downed body, right? And you've got a Zen shooting him, right? This is just not a good trade. Ah! I guess. Well, that wasn't a very good play, but it works out because they couldn't hit you. Alright, you got your shatter back. What are they doing? That Ashe made it so hard for you to help her. You don't have to do this. Bob only lasts for about 10-ish seconds, and a hack is like 6 seconds, or something like that. Maybe it's 8 seconds. Duration on Bob, not hack. Hack is 6 seconds. But like either way, like once a Bob's been shooting for a while and then it gets hacked, like the Bob is a non-factor. It's not gonna do anything for the rest of the fight. You don't have to do this. It's just unnecessary. Like it's gonna cost you so much health. Like, the Bob just left, right? Alright, do we see how difficult this is to be supported, right? You're pushing, like, you would choke. And first of all, you held your shield here for a while. You didn't, like, pick, right? And second, like, your team needs to, like, back out. Where's your Mercy? Oh, your Mercy died. Okay. But, like, relative to, like, your team, like, you put a wall between you and them, right? As opposed to just, like, backing out. Either by walking through the door and backing out, right? Or just, like, backing out over here and pushing out like this. So you're really, really forcing the issue now with limited healing. So I hope this works out. You gotta stop solving problems with charge. It's so unreliable. Alright, gonna have a manly duel behind the jail. You win, and then you do lose. You won, but you lost. Again, like, notice how is someone supposed to help you here, right? So many walls between you and your team, right? How does your Zen die? Right? He dies trying to help you. Look at him. He's like, oh, gotta help my Rein. And now he's way out of position and dies, right? So, not gonna say this is your fault necessarily, but like, think about like where you put yourself when you take these fights, right? Because that matters a lot. Like, don't take fair 1v1s. Make these fights really unfair, right? Like, if you think about it, like, your team had pretty significant mana advantage at this point, right? So taking a 1v1 where you won by like 50 health, right? Why do you even need to do that, right? You're up so you have so much more help like than him, right? Just make it unfair, right? Don't take fair fights, take unfair fights. Right, and now he's going to get res, and, like, you know, your whole advantage is gone. And your spawn's really far away. Like, there's so many, like, downsides to trading there. Mine's on high ground. That should be a huge red flag for Shadow, by the way. Yeah, so be careful about walking in front of him. Oh, now you know he's Shatter, he's hacked. So this is something that comes up a lot in scrims, is angles, right? So if you walk this way, right, you now there's a Rein on one side and the whole rest of the team on the other, right? So now you have to shield, and you have to shield all of it, right? You have to shield this side, you have to shield this side, and you have to shield the Shadow, because if you don't, he kills everyone, right? So this is where you just need to, like, isolate one angle at a time and push it, right? So either you slide to the left and really shove onto cart, right, and force them back, and assume that your team will be fine with the Shadow. This is like the most alpha play, right? Or you just back up and you just walk out this doorway and you push out this Rein, right? You just shove him out back into his team and you take a more normal fight, right? But trying to push into this choke is asking for trouble, right? You just walk into the middle, right? We talked about this repeatedly in scrims. Like, main is not where fights are won or lost. It's like the flanks, right? And if they set up a big concave for you, like the worst you can do is oblige them by walking into the middle of it, right? Pick a side and walk at it, but don't walk into the middle, because this is almost guaranteed to end badly. And if you look, your whole team's dying, right? Why are they dying? Well, let's watch it back, right? And go far enough back. Why does it put me back here? So the way you walk doesn't isolate an angle, right? So when you walk in, right, this guy is shooting for free. This guy is shooting more or less for free. And this Rein is about to come and threaten your backline as well. He's taking a very long time to get there, but if you look, it's very, very hard for your team to help you, right? What are they supposed to do? They're pinned in a corner, and they're taking shots from everybody. It's Ash actually could have just like walked out here and just won the fight in like 2 seconds. But like, this Ash isn't very good either, so. Like, it's just so hard for your team to do anything. And they're just gonna die now. Right, so if you look, your team has just been surrounded, right? Zen on Zen over here, Rein over here, like Ash and Torb like over around here, and then the Hog and Mercy, right? Like, there's just no way for your team to play this fight. And then you waste Shatter, we take those. Matter. Your team is already down 3. Nice. Why does this work? They're all stacked in one angle, right? You guys are taking a super like fair fight of a 5e, like essentially like everybody lined up, right? And that's what you want for Shatter anyways. Like, if you're pretty confident you can out Shatter this guy, right? Like, this is like, oh, the dream, right? Don't charge this, no! Alright, you gotta stop trying to solve like things with charge, right? So if you're not killing him fast enough, just hit him more, right? Hit him more, throw a 5 strike at him, right? Or walk in, like ignore the Rein, just walk in and swing, hit him while you're walking by him, right? And then go for a 5 strike swing on the people on the ground, and you'll kill them, right? But like again, like be careful with the direction you charge. If you want to charge him, right? If you really want to charge this Rein, which you can, right? You either need to charge really early while these guys are on the ground, which is not the best because you might not even kill him at that point, right? Or, right, just like stand over here, pin him to the wall, and take the free kill, right? And you can totally do that, right? But don't like hit, and then when they get up, like charge in, right? Like, it's just gonna get you caught, right? You're just gonna die for it. So like, just like if you want to pin, right? You have all the time in the world right now to set up a free pin, right? All the time and HP in the world, right? Just like jump to the left, pin him, right? Go to the right, consider pin. This pin's a bit awkward because you might actually pick him up, might not actually pick him up because you might be too far in front. But this pin is super easy, right? You can pin this wall, and you can that puts you close to the enemy team as well. You can pin this wall if you want to be really conservative, which you totally can. There's a lot of ways to do this, right? Just don't pin straight in, right? You don't have to do this. Right? You're gonna die now. You're actually dead. Oh my god, you live. Okay, you died. Yeah. Even if you didn't die there, you 100% should have died, and you should have done it a lot earlier, right? This is it was a great shatter into throwing the fight, essentially, right? Your team, it looks like, is going to win, but no, okay. Also, why does the enemy team win? Angles, right? Ash here, rest of the team here. Bob sets up an extra crossfire. This, if you guys lose this is why. Right, and it looks like you are. What was that? Again, if you want to charge this, try and aim the charge so it ends here or somewhere here, right? Somewhere closer, right? That doesn't get you killed. Like, I think you obsess over hitting the pin more than you actually do where you end the pin, and that's actually the more important part, right? Because even if you missed the pin and you somehow didn't pin that Roadhog, or you just bumped him or something, you got the 50 damage. As long as you don't pin yourself into a bad spot, it's still better than hitting the pin and putting yourself in a bad spot, right? So the final placement matter. I just want you to like spend more time thinking about this. Like the final placement of the pin matters more than the actual like hitting the pin, right? In most situations, sometimes it doesn't, right? But like in most situations, like making sure your pin doesn't kill you is more important than getting a kill off the pin, or even hitting the pin. Careful with pushing this, right? I like how you're pushing this wide generally, but like if you look, right, you're still putting a corner between you and your team, right? And there's just not a need for this. Like this Zen is unless he's dumb, he's never gonna let you catch him. Well, he's dumb. All right, well, that day. This pin's fine. Why is this pin fine? Your team's right here, right? Even if you miss the pin, it doesn't matter. You're not gonna die here, right? And you hit the pin, so everything is even better, right? This pin's okay. Why is this pin okay? Your team's running up, and you're gonna end the pin right here, and not like here, right? If you end the pin here, this is kind of sketch, depending on how regrouped they are, right? This pin, super safe, right? And if you get the pin, even better. Right? You're safe. You're not gonna die, right? Not even a threat of dying. This is sketch. Why is it sketch? Team is here, right? You have at least some teammates who are stuck here, and if you look, you're LOSing your Mercy as well, right? And your Mercy's getting shot at, so it's even worse, right? So like, at most, you should push up to here, right? Be very careful peeking this, right? Because that puts you even further out of LOS, right? Again, around the corner, and you're getting shot for no value, right? Because you're a melee character. But realistically, you should just hold here until your cart catches up with you. Until your cart gets to this corner, then you consider walking forward. Because again, LOS, right? Why does the cart coming to this point make a difference in where you position, right? Because once it gets around this point, then they can support you more easily when you're playing here, right? But until the cart gets there, right? Realistically, this is generally going to be an on-iron cart or a Zen or something, right? And all they can support is here, right? So you play around that, right? Like, why does the healing stop? Why does the Mercy stop healing you, right? Look where she is, right? She took damage, and now she's trying to get LOS in you, and it's very hard. That's very forced. Oh my god! Alright, where's this shadow going to put you? Where's this pin, rather? Where's this pin going to put you? Going to put you right here. How easy is it for your team to heal you? Literally impossible. Also, if you're here, right, you pin this guy. A, it's unlikely to be a kill, because it's a Reinhardt, right? And he's going to get all his healing. And B, you're going to put yourself in the middle of the whole team, and you're just going to die, right? And you died, right? I'm not like a prophet or anything. I can just see, I can see that pin, and I know you're dead. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter who you pin, how you pin them, when you pin them. Like, the fact that you pinned there got you killed, right? If you pin and you go for this, if you go for this pin at this angle, at this time with the whole team like this, and your team back here, way back here, like, it's just death, right? There's no way that works. It doesn't matter what rank this is, if this is bronze or GM, like, that pin is suicide. And like, until you learn to distinguish, like, the most important thing you can do for yourself at this point is like learn to distinguish that yourself, right? Which pins will kill you versus which pins won't, right? And because like right now, like, I mean, it looks like you're taking every pin you can, regardless of like whether or not it's actually good. And so you need to spend some time thinking about this, I think. This is probably a good place to stop, actually. So overall, like, your Rein mechanics themselves are okay. Even like you might even say they're decent to good, right? But the problem is the way you path around corners is like very problematic. Like you tend to go like really far around them as opposed to like just like an LS of your team. Like you don't really think about corners in terms of like what it means for your team to help you, right? And then second, and more importantly, like you've got to stop pinning in bad places, right? Like just spend like I challenge you for like a game or two a day, just like try and think of as many different like I don't even know about a game or two a day. It's just like maybe like one day a week, like just really think about your pins, right? Where will my pin put me if I do this, right? Don't worry about anything else in game. Don't worry about shadows, whatnot. Like just really focus on pins, right? Just be like, what happens if I pin now? Where will that put me? Just constantly just think of the angles in your head, right? And think of like who's around the spot where you're trying to pin to, right? So if you pin here, right, where are your teammates? It's like two people back here, right? Where's the enemy team? Literally all here, right? Right. Pin to here, like where are your teammates? They were in front of you, right? They were gonna catch up to you, no problem, right? Where are the enemy team? On the other side of the map, right? This pin is super safe, right? Just think about just like for like a day or a game a day, or just however you want to do this, like whatever practice schedule works for you. Just like spend at least a little bit of time regularly just thinking about angles of pins. What happens if I pin now, right? Whether or not you pin, just keep thinking like, what happens if I pin now, right? And then try a couple of those pins and see if you're correct, right? Maybe even go back afterward, check, watch the replay and see what happens, right? But if like you just pin on cooldown, or as soon as you see a good pin, quote unquote good pin, like so a pin you can hit, right? Um, you're not gonna learn anything. Like you need to have like I always tell people to make decisions, um, like make plays and evaluate later, right? And that's good, right? But the problem is like you're not evaluating, and I can tell because you literally like there's no decision making behind every pin. You just pin as soon as you see it, right? Um, so I guess what I'm saying is like you need to make a decision before you can evaluate, but you're not making decisions in your pin right now. You're just pinning whenever you see a pin. So like you need to put some thought into your pins, right? And then you can evaluate afterwards, right? Whether or not it was a good pin, right? But until you stabilize this, right, you're just going to end a lot, right? This is like I guess like when Owen keeps yelling at you to like hold shield or whatnot. This is the thing he has a problem with. It's like he'll see this and he'll see you pinning like this, and he'll be like, "We can't help you," and he's not wrong. He can't help you. There's no world in which they're able to help you, right? Again, it doesn't matter what rank this is, bronze or GM. This is a bad pin, right? And like again, like I saw like almost like you had like probably like a 30 to 40% success rate on good pins, right? Not success rate, 30-40% like ratio of good pins, right? And like so you had some pins that worked out, right? Like, but if we talk about this pin in the streets, right? The only reason this pin worked, right, after you got pinned here, is because the enemy team was bad. They didn't kill you, right? You were 250 HP charging with Discord on you, and the enemy team couldn't kill you, right? That just means they're bad. It doesn't mean that was a good pin, right? Because if you think about it, right, you like where's your team? Again, we talked about they were all in cart, right? Whereas their team, you just pinned through all of them to get to here, right? And they didn't kill you, right? So that's not like a good pin. That was them dropping the ball, right? Um, but yeah, I challenge you to think about pins like that. Just um, every uh, every time, like not when you pin, but like just when you're playing the game, just think about pin angles. Where does a pin put me? Anyways, if you have any questions, comments, just let me know. And if you get to this part in the video, DM me what 11.5 times 3 equals.